There is a reason silence makes people uncomfortable. Not quiet shyness, not awkward pauses, but deliberate silence. The kind of silence that does not ask for permission, the kind that does not explain itself. That silence does something unsettling. It forces people to face themselves. Most people rely on reaction to feel real. They speak and wait for response. They provoke and wait for emotion. They test and wait for movement. Reaction confirms influence, and influence feels like control. Now imagine this. Someone speaks to you with an agenda. They expect agreement, defense, or emotion, but you give them nothing. No explanation, no reaction, no emotional signal, just presence. Something breaks in that moment. Because without your reaction, their strategy has nowhere to land. Silence removes the mirror, and when people cannot see themselves reflected back, they begin to panic. They speak more. They justify. They reveal intention. This is the first truth most never realize. People do not fear your words. They fear your lack of reaction, because reaction is leverage, and silence takes it away. Most individuals are emotionally trained. They know what tone creates guilt, what words trigger defense, what pressure creates urgency. But all of it depends on one thing: your participation. The moment you stop reacting, you step outside the game. And when you step outside the game collapses. This is why silence feels powerful. Not because it dominates, but because it refuses to be dominated. Reaction feels natural. It feels human. It feels justified. But reaction is not neutral. Reaction is agreement. Not agreement with words, agreement with the frame someone else created. The moment you react emotionally, you accept their terms, their timing, their topic, their emotional pace. This is why reaction is invisible submission. You think you are expressing yourself. In reality, you are responding inside someone else's structure. Think about this carefully. When someone provokes you, they are not looking for truth. They are looking for movement, anger, defense, explanation, urgency. Any movement confirms influence. And influence is power. The one who controls the emotional rhythm controls the interaction. This is why reactive people are always exhausted. They are constantly responding to stimuli they did not choose. Messages, opinions, criticism, pressure. Their nervous system is never at rest. The disciplined mind sees this pattern early. It understands something uncomfortable. The fastest person to react is usually the weakest person in the room, because speed without control is panic disguised as confidence. Silence, on the other hand, does something different. Silence slows time. It creates a gap, and inside that gap, power changes hands. When you do not react immediately, you are no longer operating on impulse. You are choosing position. Position is everything. A person without position reacts. A person with position waits. This is why powerful individuals rarely rush. They do not need to prove presence. They do not need to assert relevance. Their absence already speaks. Now understand this clearly. Reaction gives information. It tells others what matters to you, what hurts you, what threatens you. Silence gives nothing, and what gives nothing cannot be used against you. This is why silence feels dangerous to reactive people. They cannot map you. They cannot predict you. They cannot control timing. And when control disappears, anxiety appears. Silence is not empty. It is unfamiliar, and the human mind does not tolerate what it cannot predict. Most people are conditioned to constant feedback, nods, replies, reactions, validation. When that feedback disappears, the mind panics, not loudly, internally, because silence removes orientation. When someone speaks and you do not react, their brain starts searching for answers. Did I say something wrong? Did I lose status? Am I being judged? Do I still have control? Silence creates uncertainty, and uncertainty destabilizes weak emotional structures. This is why people talk more when you stay quiet. They over-explain. They repeat themselves. They add details no one asked for. They reveal intention, not because they want to, but because the nervous system demands relief. Silence denies that relief, and denial exposes dependence. Most people believe silence is passive. It is not. Silence is pressure without force. It forces the other person to sit with their own words, their own tone, their own motives. When you react, you absorb emotional energy. When you stay silent, you reflect it back. That reflection is uncomfortable, because now they are dealing with themselves. This is why silence is often misinterpreted as arrogance or coldness. In reality, it is containment. You are not withdrawing. You are not ignoring. You are refusing to participate in emotional chaos, and chaos hates being ignored. Notice this pattern. When someone feels ignored emotionally, they escalate. They raise their voice. They increase urgency. They push harder, not because they are confident, but because their usual tools are failing. Reaction gives them leverage. Silence removes it. This is why silence feels powerful. It interrupts momentum. Every emotional interaction has rhythm, call and response, stimulus and reaction. Silence breaks the rhythm, and when rhythm breaks, control shifts. The disciplined individual understands this intuitively. He does not rush to fill space. He does not rescue others from discomfort. He does not rush to clarify perception, because he knows whoever fills the silence gives up position. Position belongs to the one who waits. This is why experienced negotiators pause, why strong leaders speak last, why calm individuals are watched more closely. Silence turns attention inward, for everyone else. And inward attention reveals weakness, not yours, theirs. This is not manipulation. This is exposure. You are not doing anything to them. You are simply not doing what they expect. And expectation is the foundation of emotional control. When expectations collapse, so does influence. Silence also removes emotional hooks. Hooks only work when something is pulled. Insults hook ego. Urgency hooks anxiety. Criticism hooks insecurity. Silence denies the hook. Nothing bites. And when nothing bites, the fisherman grows impatient. This impatience is visible. They talk faster. They gesture more. They lose composure. Meanwhile, you remain unchanged. This contrast creates hierarchy, not because you dominate, but because you are not dominated. Calm presence under pressure is read as strength at a biological level, before logic, before language. The nervous system understands it instantly. This is why silence commands respect even from people who dislike you. They may not like your calm, but they feel its authority. Silence also protects you. Every word spoken under emotion can be used against you. Tone can be misinterpreted. Intent can be questioned. Statements can be twisted. Silence leaves nothing to attack. It is clean. This is why the disciplined mind values silence, not as avoidance, but as precision. You speak when words add leverage. You remain silent when they would leak it. And most situations do not require words. They require positioning. Authority is rarely claimed. It is assigned. And it is never assigned to the loudest person in the room. It is assigned to the one who does not need to compete. Most people misunderstand authority. They think it comes from dominance, argument, assertion, control. In reality, authority comes from emotional independence. The person who reacts least controls the pace. The person who controls the pace controls the interaction. Silence is how pace is slowed, and when pace slows, power consolidates. Look closely at any social hierarchy. The most reactive individual is always positioned lower. They interrupt, they justify, they explain, they defend, they rush to be understood. All of this signals one thing: I am affected. And the moment you are affected, you are adjustable. Authority does not adjust. Authority holds position. This is why calm people are deferred to without requesting it. Others wait for them to speak. Others adjust tone around them. Others become cautious. Not because of fear, but because of uncertainty. Uncertainty forces respect. When people cannot read you easily, they assume depth. When they cannot predict your reaction, they limit their behavior. This is not mystique. This is psychology. The human mind is wired to test boundaries. Every interaction contains a subtle probe. A joke that pushes slightly too far. A comment with a hint of disrespect. A request framed as an expectation. Reactive people fail these tests instantly. They laugh nervously. They explain intentions. They soften boundaries. And once a boundary softens, pressure increases. The disciplined individual does not acknowledge the test. No laughter, no correction, no reaction, just continuity. And continuity signals finality. The test finds no grip. This is why silence often ends challenges before they escalate. There is nothing to escalate against. Authority also forms through emotional economy. People instinctively trust those who conserve energy, those who do not overextend emotionally, those who do not perform constantly, those who do not broadcast inner state. Why? Because stability signals safety, and safety attracts alignment. People do not follow emotion. They follow regulation. This is why in chaotic environments, the calm individual becomes the reference point. Others glance at them. They wait for cues. They mirror posture and tone. Leadership transfers silently. No announcement, no assertion, just emotional gravity. Silence increases gravity. It concentrates attention. When you speak rarely, every word carries density. When you explain less, intent feels stronger. When you react slowly, your decisions feel deliberate. Deliberateness is authority. Now consider this carefully. Authority is not built by winning arguments. Arguments create opposition. Authority is built by making argument unnecessary. Silence does that. It removes the conversational battlefield. There is nothing to fight against. This is why people often feel unsettled around emotionally contained individuals. They cannot locate weakness. They cannot extract reassurance. They cannot provoke alignment or resistance. They feel unanchored. And when people feel unanchored, they defer, not consciously, instinctively. This is why the disciplined individual does not chase respect. Chasing respect signals lack. Silence signals sufficiency. Another critical point. Authority requires consistency. Reactive people are inconsistent by nature. Their mood changes with stimulus. Their tone changes with pressure. Their position shifts with opinion. This makes them unreliable. The calm individual remains the same across conditions. Praise does not inflate him. Criticism does not collapse him. Pressure does not accelerate him. This predictability at the core creates trust. Not emotional trust, structural trust. And structural trust is power. Now understand this. Silence does not mean you never speak. It means you speak from position, not from need. You speak when the moment is ripe. You speak when clarity has formed. You speak when words move reality forward. Everything else is noise. The disciplined mind ignores noise. And by ignoring noise, it becomes signal. When silence works, it does not end the interaction. It exposes it. And exposure makes insecure people uncomfortable. This is why silence is often followed by escalation. Not because you did something wrong, but because you did something powerful. Most people rely on predictable emotional exchanges to feel oriented. They provoke, you react. They push, you respond. They pressure, you explain. This rhythm regulates them. When you remove your part of the rhythm, their internal balance collapses. So they try harder. They raise their voice. They repeat themselves. They intensify emotion. They increase urgency. This is not confidence. It is loss of leverage. Escalation is what happens when control stops working. Think carefully about this. A calm person never escalates first. Escalation always comes from the one who feels ignored, unseen, or ineffective. Silence makes people ineffective. Ineffective. That feeling is intolerable for reactive minds. So they attempt to reclaim influence. How? By increasing emotional pressure, guilt, accusation, victimhood, aggression, false urgency. These are not communication tools. They are regulation tools. They are attempts to force a reaction, and reaction restores balance for them. This is why emotionally disciplined individuals are often accused of being cold, not because they lack emotion, but because they refuse emotional labor on demand. They do not absorb chaos. They let chaos remain where it belongs. Escalation follows silence because silence removes emotional feedback. Without feedback, people do not know where they stand. They feel invisible. And invisibility threatens identity, so they push harder. Now observe the pattern. When escalation fails to trigger reaction, something interesting happens. The escalator begins to reveal themselves. They contradict earlier statements. They expose motives. They show desperation. They over-explain. This is not strategy. This is nervous system panic. The disciplined mind understands this and does nothing. No correction, no counterattack, no justification, just observation. Because every extra word spoken by the escalator is information gained. Silence turns the exchange asymmetrical. You gather data. They leak it. This is why silence feels unfair to reactive people. They are playing a game that requires two players, and you left the game. Now consider this carefully. If someone escalates when you are calm, it is proof that calm is working. You are no longer controllable. That is threatening. Escalation is the last tool of the powerless, not the strong. Strong individuals do not need emotional spikes. They remain measured. They apply pressure strategically, not emotionally. The moment emotion enters, structure leaves. And disciplined minds recognize this immediately. Here is the crucial mistake most people make. When escalation appears, they break silence, they defend, they explain, they react, and the escalator wins because the reaction restored leverage. Silence, maintained, reverses the dynamic. Escalation collapses without resistance. Why? Because emotion feeds on attention. No attention, no fuel. Now let us address fear. Most people fear silence during escalation. They think silence equals weakness. They think silence equals surrender. They think silence makes them look guilty. This belief is false. Silence does not imply guilt. Emotion implies instability. Instability invites control. Silence signals self-possession. And self-possession is intimidating to those who lack it. This is why silence under pressure feels like dominance. Because it is, not aggressive dominance, but positional dominance. You are not fighting, you are unmoved, and the unmoved cannot be controlled. There is a moment when non-reaction stops being something you do and becomes something you are. At first, silence feels like effort. You feel the impulse to respond, to explain, to correct, to defend, and you resist it consciously. This is discipline, but discipline is only the doorway. What happens next is far more important. Each time you do not react, something internal shifts. Your nervous system learns a new lesson. I did not respond, and nothing bad happened. This is critical. Most people react because their body believes reaction is necessary for survival. Reaction feels urgent. Silence feels dangerous. But when silence produces safety instead of harm, the body recalibrates. The impulse weakens. Emotion still appears, but it no longer commands. This is where identity begins to change. You stop seeing yourself as someone who must answer immediately. You stop seeing yourself as someone who owes explanations. You stop seeing yourself as someone who must manage other people's emotions. You begin to see yourself as someone who decides. Decision replaces impulse, and that single shift alters everything. Now observe what happens externally. People begin to feel a difference around you. Not because you announce it, because your timing changes, your response is slow, your tone stabilizes, your presence becomes heavier. You are no longer emotionally synchronized with the room. You are centered. This creates psychological gravity. Others start adjusting to you. They wait longer. They choose words more carefully. They hesitate before pushing boundaries, not consciously. Nervous systems recognize regulation before logic does. A regulated nervous system signals authority, an unregulated one signals volatility, and people instinctively avoid volatility. This is why calm individuals rise socially without effort. They are not louder, they are steadier. Now here is the uncomfortable truth. As your non-reaction becomes consistent, some people will change toward you, and some will disappear. Those who relied on your reactions for validation, control, or emotional regulation will feel cut off. They will say you changed. They will accuse you of being distant. They will frame your calm as coldness. This is projection. What actually happened is simple. You stopped supplying something they depended on. emotional access, and when access disappears, dependency is revealed. The disciplined mind does not argue with this. It does not explain. It allows the separation to occur. Because identity refinement always includes loss. You cannot become unmovable without becoming less available. Now understand this deeply. Non-reaction does not remove empathy. It removes emotional obligation. You can care without being pulled. You can listen without absorbing. You can be present without surrendering center. This is maturity. Most people confuse emotional intensity with depth. Depth does not react. Depth absorbs and decides. As this identity stabilizes, something else changes. Your internal dialogue quiets. There is less rehearsal, less anticipation, less mental noise, because most mental noise comes from unfinished reactions, arguments replayed, responses imagined, defenses rehearsed. When reaction stops, loops close. The mind clears, clarity returns, and clarity creates precision. You begin choosing words more carefully, or not at all. You begin choosing actions deliberately, without explanation. This is when silence stops being a tactic. It becomes posture, and posture shapes destiny. Trust is not built through explanation. It is built through emotional consistency. Most people believe trust comes from transparency, from sharing thoughts, from expressing feelings, from constant communication. This is false. Transparency without stability creates uncertainty. People do not trust those who reveal everything. They trust those who remain unchanged under pressure. Calm is evidence. When someone stays composed while others rush, panic, or react, the nervous system of everyone around them notices. Before logic engages, the body decides. This person is safe to follow. This is biological. Humans evolved to read emotional signals faster than words. A regulated nervous system signals survival. An unregulated one signals risk. This is why calm individuals are often trusted with responsibility before they are fully understood. They feel reliable. Now observe how credibility is usually destroyed. People talk too much, promise too much, explain too much. They try to manufacture trust verbally, but every explanation carries emotion. Emotion introduces instability. Instability weakens credibility. The disciplined mind does not attempt to be trusted. It allows behavior to speak, and behavior without emotional volatility is interpreted as certainty. Certainty creates trust. Now look at leadership under pressure. When uncertainty rises, people do not look for motivation. They look for stability, not optimism, not reassurance, not speeches. Stability. The person who does not escalate emotionally becomes the anchor, even if they say very little, especially if they say very little. Silence during chaos is not absence, it is containment. Containment reassures. This is why in crisis situations, the calmest individual often becomes the reference point. Others glance at them unconsciously. They wait for reaction. They mirror posture and tone. Leadership transfers silently. No announcement, no command. Just emotional regulation. Now understand something critical. People do not trust competence alone. They trust predictable response. A highly skilled person who reacts emotionally is less trusted than a moderately skilled person who remains calm. Why? Because emotion introduces volatility. Volatility threatens outcomes. The disciplined mind removes volatility. This is why calm people are given authority gradually, not through debate, through repetition. Each moment of non-reaction reinforces a message in others. This person does not break. Over time, this becomes identity. You are no longer perceived as someone who reacts. You are perceived as someone who decides. Decision makers are trusted. Reactors are managed. Now consider communication. When you speak less, people listen harder. When you explain less, authority increases. Your words gain density. You are no longer filling space. You are shaping it. And when you do speak, silence amplifies meaning. Now connect this to power. Power flows toward those who are trusted. Trust flows toward those who remain stable. Stability comes from non-reaction. This is the loop. You do not need to convince anyone. Your nervous system does the work, and the more you remain unmoved, the stronger the signal becomes. It begins with timing. Someone introduces pressure, a comment, a deadline, a tone shift, and then they wait. They are not waiting for logic. They are waiting for reaction, because reaction is information. The speed of your response reveals urgency. The emotion in your voice reveals attachment. The explanation reveals insecurity. Once these are known, leverage appears. This is how control is built quietly. Reactive people give this leverage away constantly. They respond too fast. They explain too much. They try to resolve discomfort immediately, and in doing so, they expose their nervous system. The disciplined mind does the opposite. It does not accept artificial timing. It does not mirror urgency. It slows the interaction until emotion drains out and structure remains. This alone collapses most manipulation, because manipulation needs momentum. Momentum dies in stillness. Now observe how predictable reactive people become. Prediction is power. If someone knows what makes you react, they know how to move you. Praise, criticism, guilt, fear, urgency. Each reaction maps your inner structure. Over time, you become readable. Readable people are manageable. The disciplined mind removes the map. No visible spike, no emotional signal, no timing giveaway. This creates uncertainty. Uncertainty destabilizes manipulators. They lose rhythm. They escalate too early or retreat too late. Either way, control breaks. Now understand this clearly. Silence is not avoidance. Silence is information denial. You are not withholding truth. You are withholding access. Access is what manipulators need. Without access, they guess. And guessing weakens strategy. This is why calm individuals are rarely targeted repeatedly, not because they fight back, but because they do not feed the process. Manipulation starves without reaction. Now consider negotiation. Most people negotiate emotionally, even when they believe they are logical. They rush to clarify, rush to justify, rush to resolve tension. Each rush reveals preference. Preference weakens position. The disciplined mind tolerates discomfort. Discomfort does not require resolution. Only reaction does. By not reacting, you allow the other side to reveal themselves. They talk more. They overcommit. They expose constraints. Information flows one way. Leverage follows information. Now look at emotional debt. Reactive people accumulate it. Every unprocessed reaction leaves residue. Resentment, regret, self-doubt. This residue lowers baseline confidence. Lower confidence increases reactivity. The loop tightens. The disciplined mind breaks it at the source. No reaction means no residue. A clean mind holds position. Now observe how authority disappears. People who overreact are quietly removed from influence, not publicly, subtly. They are seen as unstable variables. Others stop involving them early, stop sharing ambiguity, stop trusting them with uncertainty. They are still present, but no longer decisive. This is leverage loss, and most never notice it happening. The disciplined mind avoids this fate by remaining emotionally neutral. Neutrality signals reliability. Reliability attracts responsibility. Responsibility builds authority. Authority creates leverage. Now consider this paradox. The less you try to control outcomes, the more control you gain. Why? Because control does not come from effort. It comes from position, and position is psychological. The person who reacts least occupies the highest position in any emotional exchange. This is not dominance, it is gravity. Others orbit. There is a moment when everything changes, not externally, internally. You stop reminding yourself to stay calm. You stop rehearsing responses. You stop resisting impulses. The impulse simply no longer owns you. This is the moment non-reaction stops being a technique and becomes who you are. Most people never reach this stage because they treat calm as performance. They ask, how do I look unbothered? How do I appear confident? How do I hide reaction? But hiding is still reacting. Control that requires effort is temporary. Identity is permanent. When non-reaction becomes identity, there is no internal struggle. Nothing is being suppressed. Nothing is being forced down. There is simply no need to move. And people feel this immediately. They sense that emotional leverage no longer works on you, that urgency no longer bends you, that provocation no longer activates you. So they stop trying, not consciously, instinctively, because manipulation requires participation, and you are no longer available. At this level, your presence alone sets boundaries. You do not explain yourself. You do not justify silence. You do not defend your pace. Your nervous system has already decided, and others adjust to it. This is why people slow down around you, lower their tone, choose words carefully, not because you demand respect, but because your emotional center does not move. Stillness creates authority. Now look inward. When reaction disappears, internal noise collapses. Thoughts become shorter. Emotions pass without attachment. Attention consolidates instead of scattering. You regain enormous amounts of energy. Energy that was previously leaking through explanation, anticipation, defense. This energy does not spike. It accumulates into clarity, into focus, into consistency. And consistency becomes reputation. Not a reputation you manage, a reputation others experience. They know what to expect from you, and what they expect is stability. Stable people become reference points. Reference points become leaders, not because they speak the loudest, but because they are the least moved. Now understand something critical. At this stage, fear loses leverage. Fear survives on urgency, on immediacy, on reaction. When you stop reacting, fear has nowhere to land. You no longer seek relief, you seek position. You no longer respond to pressure. You let pressure expose itself, and most pressure collapses when it is not fed. This is why disciplined individuals win without force. They are not aggressive. They are not dominant. They are unavailable to chaos. Once this shift happens, you cannot unsee it. You notice reactivity everywhere. In conversations that escalate unnecessarily. In people who explain instead of act. In those who chase validation. And when reactivity appears in you, you feel it instantly. Not as guilt, not as shame, as inefficiency. Reaction feels wasteful. It burns energy without producing leverage. So you return to center naturally. Effort disappears. Stability remains. This is emotional sovereignty. Not numbness. Not detachment from life. Sovereignty. Nothing external commands your internal state. The world still tests you. Noise still exists. Provocation still appears, but it no longer enters. Access has been revoked. You are not trying to be calm. You are calm. You are not practicing discipline. You are disciplined. You are not avoiding reaction. Reaction no longer defines you. There is a point where the world stops testing you. Not because challenges disappear, not because people change, but because nothing works anymore. The same pressure, the same provocation, the same tactics, no reaction, and when reaction disappears, control disappears with it. This is the final threshold. You are no longer managing yourself. You are no longer restraining emotion. You are no longer being disciplined. You are aligned. Life still happens. Conflict still exists. Noise still surrounds you, but none of it reaches your center. You respond only when response serves direction. You remain silent when silence preserves power. At this stage, silence is not absence. It is presence without permission. People feel it. They cannot rush you. They cannot guilt you. They cannot provoke you into movement. Their urgency does not infect you. Their emotions do not recruit you. Their expectations do not pull you forward. This creates something deeply unsettling for reactive minds. They feel exposed. Because without your reaction, they are left alone with themselves. Their tone sounds louder. Their motives become visible. Their insecurity rises to the surface, and you did nothing. This is the paradox of non-reaction. Your stillness creates motion in others. They speak more, explain more, escalate more, and with every word, they lose position. You gain information without effort. This is why silence has always been feared. Silence removes feedback, and without feedback, illusion collapses. Now understand this clearly. You do not become powerful by dominating others. You become powerful by becoming ungovernable. Ungovernable by emotion. Ungovernable by urgency. Ungovernable by approval. Ungovernable by fear. When nothing can disturb you, nothing can steer you. This is not withdrawal from life. This is engagement from a higher position. You are no longer reacting to the world. The world adjusts to you. Conversations slow down. Drama loses momentum. Pressure dissolves. Not because you resisted, because there was nothing to resist. This is the highest form of boundary. It requires no explanation, no defense, no escalation. It simply exists. Now look at who you have become. You speak less, and when you speak, it lands. You move slower, and you arrive faster. You care less about being understood, and you are respected more. Because power does not need agreement. It needs coherence. Your nervous system is coherent. Your actions are deliberate. Your presence is stable. This is why people stop challenging you directly, not out of fear, out of recognition. They sense that engagement no longer benefits them, so they adapt. This is how hierarchy reshapes itself. Quietly, naturally, without conflict. You did not announce change, you embodied it. This is why once you reach this state, there is no return. You cannot unlearn non-reaction. You cannot unknow how much energy you used to waste. You cannot go back to urgency, explanation, or emotional bargaining. They feel inefficient now, small, loud. You have crossed the line where calm becomes structure. Not situational calm, not practiced calm, structural calm. Your baseline is unmovable. And when the baseline is unmovable, life stops pushing. It negotiates. Silence is no longer something you use. It is something you are. And this is what happens when they lose control. Not because you fought them, not because you outplayed them, but because you stopped reacting. And nothing is more powerful than that. After this point, life feels different. Not dramatic, not euphoric, quieter. And that quiet is not empty. It is organized. You begin to notice how much of the world runs on emotional noise. How many decisions are rushed. How many conflicts exist only because someone reacted too fast. And you are no longer inside that mechanism. You do not feel superior. You feel clear. This is an important distinction. Superiority still depends on comparison. Clarity does not. Clarity stands on its own. Now something subtle but permanent happens. Your internal timing changes. You are no longer synced to the pace of others. You move according to your own rhythm. Deadlines no longer create panic. Messages no longer demand urgency. Silence no longer needs to be filled. You have internal authority. And internal authority always expresses itself externally. People begin to wait for you, not because you asked them to, because they sense that rushing you is pointless. They adjust their tone. They simplify their words. They become more intentional. This is not respect that was demanded. It is respect that emerged, because emotional leverage over you is gone. Now understand this clearly. Most people are controlled not by others, but by their own nervous systems. They react because their body tells them to. They speak because silence feels threatening. They explain because uncertainty feels unsafe. You no longer operate from that place. Your nervous system does not confuse stimulus with danger, so you can pause where others panic. You can wait where others rush. You can remain silent where others explode. This makes you rare, and rarity changes value. Not because you are inaccessible, but because you are not compulsive. Compulsion is weakness disguised as honesty. You see this everywhere now. People oversharing, over-explaining, overreacting, trying to relieve internal pressure by external expression. You do not judge them. You simply do not join them. And that non-participation protects you. Your energy stops leaking. Your focus deepens. Your actions become cleaner. You no longer live inside unfinished emotional loops. Nothing lingers. Conversations end where they end. Moments pass without replay. Decisions settle without regret. This is emotional cleanliness. And emotional cleanliness creates stamina. You do not burn out easily anymore. Because burnout is not caused by work. It is caused by resistance. Resistance to silence. Resistance to discomfort. Resistance to not reacting. That resistance is gone. Now life does not feel easier. It feels lighter. Because you are no longer carrying unnecessary weight. You are no longer absorbing other people's emotions. You are no longer managing their expectations. You are no longer regulating their instability. You are responsible only for your direction. And direction sharpens everything. This is when people begin to misinterpret you. They call you distant. They call you cold. They say you have changed. They are correct, but not in the way they think. You did not withdraw from life. You withdrew from noise. And without noise, life reveals itself more clearly. You see patterns sooner. You spot manipulation faster. You sense escalation before it happens. Because your perception is no longer distorted by emotion, emotion still exists. It just does not drive. This is the point where discipline stops feeling like restraint and starts feeling like freedom. You are no longer saying no to reaction. Reaction no longer shows up, and when it does, it has no authority. This is the aftermath of non-reaction. Not a performance, not a persona, a different operating system. And from here forward, everything you build lasts longer, because it is not built on urgency. It is built on control. At the end of this path, there is no ceremony, no announcement, no confirmation, just a realization. You are no longer trying to control yourself. You simply are controlled from within. Silence is no longer something you use. It is something you live in. And because of that, nothing external has authority over you. You no longer feel pulled into arguments. You no longer feel pressure to respond. You no longer feel the need to explain who you are, what you think, or why you chose a certain path. Not because you don't care, but because caring no longer requires expression. This is the moment when emotional independence becomes permanent. Your reactions no longer define you. Your identity no longer depends on feedback. Your sense of self no longer fluctuates with attention or approval. You are not hiding. You are grounded. And grounded people are immovable. Now observe what happens around you. Noise continues. Opinions continue. Provocations still appear, but they pass through you without friction. Nothing sticks, because silence has become structural, not situational, not strategic, structural. You are no longer practicing restraint. You are no longer resisting impulse. Impulse has lost its authority. This is what most people never reach. They understand non-reaction intellectually, but they never allow it to rewrite their identity. You did. And identity level change is irreversible. From this point forward, your presence does the work. You don't need to assert boundaries. People sense them. You don't need to demand respect. People adjust automatically. You don't need to dominate conversations. Your silence carries more weight than words. This is not power over others. This is power over access. Nothing enters your inner world unless you allow it. And because of that, everything you do is deliberate. You speak when it matters. You act when it counts. You withdraw when necessary. No drama, no performance, just precision. This is why calm becomes intimidating, not because it threatens, but because it cannot be moved. Most people spend their lives reacting to people, reacting to pressure, reacting to fear. They are always slightly off-center. You are not. You remain centered regardless of circumstance. And that is the highest form of strength, because the world cannot control what it cannot disturb. When reaction ends, manipulation ends. When urgency ends, pressure ends. When emotional access ends, leverage ends. What remains is direction, quiet, clear, unshakable. You are no longer reacting to life. Life is responding to you, and nothing external has the power to move you anymore.